a set of Moza SR-P sim racing pedals. I bought these on eBay for £57. They were listed as 40 for spares and repair only. It did also come with the clutch, which is an optional extra with these. According to the seller, the accelerator doesn't work at all, and the clutch has intermittent problems. So we'll unpack it and see if we can fix it. So we've got the base plate there. Okay, nothing under there. Foam, let's remove that. Okay, pedals. Got the instruction manual. That's the brake. This is the set that has the load cell as well as a sensor on the side. And the accelerator, yeah, looks okay. What's in here? Oh, all the screws and things. We'll have a little look at the clutch pedal that came separately. There's the clutch. Oh, straight away there. You can see there's a bit of tape holding this plastic cover on, and everything seems to be a bit, well, in fact, it just falls out. Okay, well, that's probably why that doesn't work very well. If I can get that to focus, there's definitely someone's been in here before. Let's see if we can do any better than that. You can see the two end pins have got some massive blobs of soldering on, and a lot of bare wire. Oh, that wire's actually not attached. See that blue one there? Okay. I was going to suggest plugging it into the computer so we could see what's going on, but it seems a bit pointless. So what I'm going to do first is resolder all of this on there. Get that reattached to the pedal in here, then we'll test it. So here it is. You can see someone's had a go at trying to solder this back on. Some pretty interesting solder work going on there. Melted wires. It's also on the back. They've, rather than putting it back on here where it was originally, they've flipped it over. So I think what I'll do is see if we can clean off this glue, desolder everything, clean it all up, cut the wires back, and then get it nice and tidy all back on again. Use a little bit of IPA, see if we can melt this glue a bit. Might try a little hot air. Oh, melted my mat. Weird. That's a lot easier. Okay, perfect. blue went to 3.3, so the wire needs to go this way around. I'm not 100% happy with that. I might just touch it up a little bit, but I will change the soldering iron tip because that one is just too big. Okay, that'll do. Should be fine. I will use the multimeter quickly just to test that we have got continuity to all these pads and there aren't any shorts. Blue. Yep. Should be yellow. Yep. Green. Yep. Red. Yep. Black. Yep. All good. So to keep this all in place, I'm going to get the glue gun out and we'll put a little bit on top of here and then put the heat shrink over the top, and hopefully that should be a pretty permanent fix. That looks better. Time for the heat shrink. And we'll give this area a little clean as well while it's taken apart. I mean, there's not much in there. Magnet attached to here. If you see, if as I move the pedal, that rotates there. And then this is picked up by this chip here when it's placed in there, and that's how it knows when you're pressing the pedal or not. Right, let's see if I have any small screws. I've been poking around and I just found these. I think they're just like mounting screws for like hard drives and things like that. Let's take this tape off. If we can clean off that sticky stuff. Okay, that'll do. See if we can get this back on again. I think hopefully it should just clip on. So that's that one done. Let's have a look at the other two. Next up is the brake. So far it looks like it's perfectly fine. It has two connectors because it has the same sensor arrangement we just looked at, but then it also has a load cell in the bottom part here, so which is nice because it's like a multi-stage sensing. But face value, everything looks good. Next is the throttle. So this said it didn't work at all. It also has the sort of the controller built in here where you plug in all the other pedals, which is nice. It means no separate box. But if this isn't working at all, I'm not sure. Nothing obvious. Might disconnect the wire and we'll see what's going on. Oh, that was very wobbly. I don't think that's... No. Not even attached. So that's been ripped out at some point. Looks like we're going to have to do the same thing again that we just did with the other one. If you look there on the 3.3 line, the pad is lifted. I don't know if that was me or whether it was like that already, but I'm gonna have to do something about that. The track is on this side anyway, and if we go to this side you can see there's nothing connected to it, so it doesn't really matter that much. start with the blue one that we need to stick through that hole to solder onto the back side. Still a little bit messy, but it's quite difficult. Certainly a lot easier using this smaller soldering iron tip than the first time. Now we get the multimeter going again, and we'll test for continuity on this one too. Blue. Yep. Yellow. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Okay, great. So that one's all fixed. So let's put a bit of glue on there. So that's everything obvious covered. Now I think we should plug it into the PC and we can check the pedals on the Moza software and see if they're working as they should, or whether there's something else we've missed. I think before testing, actually, I'm going to assemble it all together. I will actually give it all a bit of a clean as well. I've just noticed quite how dirty it all is. Notice that this pedal is set slightly lower than this one. The Moza software is installed. I'm going to plug the pedals in and we'll see if they get recognised. That's in. Oh, SR-P pedals. Let's try the throttle. Max. Minimum. Oh, there's a little bit of funny business there. There, you see? Sort of not quite smooth. Yeah, there's that little bit of glitching. Let's try the clutch. Okay, we've got a similar kind of thing there, a bit of glitching going on. And then the brake, it's pretty tough. You have to put so much pressure on there. I mean, it seems okay though. If you do the clutch quite fast, it does glitch out quite a lot. At this point, I'm not really sure what's going on, but if you look on here, there are some test points. I'm going to set the scope up and then probe these points because there's one labelled data. To make my life easier, I'm just going to tag on a little wire to the ground test point here, just so it's easier to connect to the scope. Let's check the first point. Obvious one, 3.3 volts. See if there's not the right power going in. Well, we got 3.3. 1 volt per section here, so we've got 1, 2, 3 sections and then 0.3. SCK. There's definitely some data there. CS. Nothing on CS. Oh, there is a little bit of data. Just when you connect it, that little bit pops up. Yeah, there's something happening. And then data. Zoom out a bit and leave that on there and move the pedal, and we'll see if that changes anything. Don't think so. Let's go back to CS again. SCK. Nothing obvious there, really. There's stuff happening, but it doesn't seem to relate. Well, the problem is it is digital, so it is sending digital signals through, which are quite hard to measure on a scope accurately. I don't really know what it means. I am starting to wonder whether there might actually be something wrong with the chip that's on the back side of here. I mean, could both of the chips have gone faulty? What I could do is if I remove the sensor from here and then put it up here, if it works fine, then we definitely know it's this board. Looking at these two boards, they're identical. The markings are all exactly the same, the components are the same. So I think that's fair enough to swap them over and expect it to work. So it's been maybe an hour or so. I swapped the sensor over from the brake to the accelerator. It was still doing exactly the same thing. I had a look if there was any new firmware for the pedals, and it had the latest version, but you know, sometimes that can cause problems, so I've rolled back to 1211. So if we go to the pedals now, if we look at the graph at the top, I'll just push it all the way out a couple of times. Now if I gently push the pedal in, it seems to be working absolutely perfectly. So it seems not only was it just the wires that were broken, it was a firmware update that broke it. So in theory, that's all working. So what I'm going to do now is take the brake sensor back off here and put it back where it belongs, and then put the other one, wherever that's gone, there it is, put the other one back on here. And if that all works, whoever owned this before did a firmware update, it broke the pedals, so they took them apart to see if they could fix it, and then just went to town on it and pulled all the wires off. Can't be 100% sure, but that's my hunch at least. Glue on the brake one has come off, so I used the hot air gun to melt it, stick it back down again. That's better. Time to test again. So we're in the software. I'm going to plug it in. Let's go back to the main screen. Hopefully it recognises it still. Yep, there we go. Right, let's go back to here. Let's start with the brake, because that we know that worked. Push it as best I can. That seems absolutely fine, good. Let's try the accelerator. Looks good. Let's just do it gently at the beginning, see if it glitches. No, perfect. And finally the clutch. No, that looks fine too. So there we go, fixed. Bit of a strange one. We can't be sure, but it does look like there was a firmware upgrade which was causing the problems from the beginning. I did notice in the software that it was set to auto update. So, like I said, there's a possibility that they work fine. The software upgrade, or firmware upgrade I should say, stopped them working, and then whoever owned them took it apart, assuming that there was something wrong with the electronics, and then ended up just ripping all the wires off. But you never know, it might be true, might not. Anyway, I'm pretty happy. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next one soon. Bye.